to true crime with strategic eyes.
Strategic back again. Welcome. Happy Sunday, everybody. For some of you guys, it's actually Monday, depending on what part of the world you're in. But guys, today is a great day. I wanted to share something with you guys. This amazing article that we got our hands on, where the mother of Vanessa Avina, who at one point was known as Vanessa Haro, and if you're following this case, you know who Vanessa Haro is, because that is the mother of Promise Faith, who is the child of Vanessa Haro and Jake Haro that was permanently disabled. 3% of her brain function is left after her father did the horrible things that he did to her. Now, this mother actually was convicted of the misdemeanor child cruelty charge. Her mother is now speaking out. Her mother's name is, I believe, Margarita. Margarita Avina. She's speaking out about her experience with Jake Haro and her thoughts on this case. Now, before we get started, I want to apologize to the audience really quickly, because this live was originally scheduled for 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, but I have a very long day at work tomorrow, a 20-hour shift I'm going to have to do. So I needed to start this show as early as possible, because as soon as we're done with this show, I'm going to go to bed. So we're going to jump right into this. Big shout out to everybody who's joined us today. We appreciate you immensely. Genki Goddess with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, Strategic, great channel, great job. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for supporting the channel. For everybody else, please hit that like button. Support the channel as we work our way through this article. I think this is very probative, because this gives us an inside look into the Haro's household, okay? Which is something that we don't have much of right now with Rebecca Haro, because she's sticking by her guns. Jake Haro is a great dad who would never hurt any of his kids. And when asked, did you know about his history, his criminal history? The answer is yes. And it doesn't matter, because he's a great dad and he never hurt any of his kids. That's what Rebecca is saying. So we don't know the dynamics of that family household. Nobody's cracking and giving up what really happened in the Haro's house. So we got to look at the people who Jake used to be with. And Jake was a prolific marrier. I just made that word up, a marrier. He married women left and right, ladies and gentlemen. He's got at least 3 wives or former wives. So we have Isabella, I believe was the first one. Then we have Vanessa, and now we have Rebecca. God knows who he's going to marry once he's doing life in prison. But anyway, let's get into this, guys. Very interesting and probative stuff. So, abusive, big shout out to The Sun. This is from The Sun, U.S. edition, all right? Abusive home, terrifying new claims about devil dad Jake Haro, whose abuse left daughter disabled, are revealed by ex-mom-in-law. Let's get going. Let's get down to the meat of it. I think this is Vanessa Avina, a.k.a. Vanessa Haro. So there's a picture of her in 2018. She's a fairly attractive lady. At least I think she's attractive, but let's keep going. All right. They told police he was kidnapped from a California parking lot while Rebecca was changing his diaper, and joined the search before the arrest days later. Riverside County District Attorney now claims Emmanuel died from child abuse, but his remains have not been located. It recently emerged that dad Jake has a 2023 felony conviction for child cruelty, stemming from an arrest in Hemet, California, while he was married to his ex-wife, Vanessa Avina. Interesting. Let's keep going. On October 13th, 2018, their 10-week-old daughter was admitted to the hospital, and doctors told police the little girl had an acute fractured rib, 6 ribs with healing fractures. That means it's happening over time, ladies and gentlemen. This is abuse that's happening over time. A skull fracture, brain hemorrhage, that's blood on the brain, guys, swelling of the neck, consistent with asphyxiation, or strangulation, and a fractured leg bone that was healing. Let me make it a little bit bigger, because you guys know I'm getting old, so it's hard to read the small print. Make it easier for you guys to read too. Big shout out to J Maker. Says 199 super chat. Thank you, Strategic, for accepting my email. No problem. And Patricia DeBro 199. Thank you so much. All right, let's keep going. An officer wrote in an affidavit for a warrant that the findings were indicative of abuse, head trauma, child physical abuse, and nutritional neglect. Remember, this is coming up. They're just leading us into it. So telling us the backstory. Be patient. We're about to get to a very probative article. Jake reported he blamed the baby's injuries on Vanessa. Does that sound familiar? Because he's doing the same thing to Rebecca now. He did it to Vanessa. He said it was Vanessa who did it. Now he's doing it to Rebecca. But remember, he pled guilty to the felony charge and Vanessa pled guilty to the misdemeanor charge. I'd like to know the circumstances of that. Why did they charge her with the misdemeanor and not the felony? Should she have been charged at all? It makes you ask these questions. Should she have been charged at all? But let's keep going. Both eventually pleaded guilty to the charge in 2023, but escaped jail. That's not exactly accurate because, once again, Vanessa took the misdemeanor and he got the felony. Following his arrest this month, Vanessa's mother, Margarita Avina, gave an emotional interview to the U.S. Sun about her granddaughter's terrifying ordeal. Let's jump into this. They blame my daughter, but Jake is the devil, Margarita claimed as she broke down in tears. And he gets away with murder. He gets away with what he did to my granddaughter. Woo! You can feel the emotion in her words. The little girl, now a 7-year-old, was adopted by Vanessa's cousin along with another son. Riverside District Attorney Michael Heston told a press conference earlier this week that the poor 7-year-old is permanently bedridden as cerebral palsy as a result of long-term child abuse. Margarita said, I always wanted justice. I leave it to God. I think this is justice, but this didn't have to happen to baby Emmanuel. I knew he would do something like this again. Grandma predicted it, ladies and gentlemen. This poor baby, it's been traumatizing, but I knew he would do it. Look what he did to my granddaughter. I hope he pays. He has destroyed lives. No truer words have been spoken. Let's keep going. Although Vanessa eventually pleaded guilty, her mom claims she was abused by Jake and would never harm their child, insisting she wasn't in her right mind. My daughter is nothing compared to what they are saying, she said. It's very, very upsetting. It hurts. This, Jake Haro, brings back everything that happened. I can't even sleep. But look at the pattern, guys. The same thing happened with Vanessa is now happening with Rebecca. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back of the room. The same thing that happened with Vanessa is now happening with Rebecca. He finds women that are easily manipulated, who he abuses, and then he kills or he almost kills their children. Make it make sense. Who is the common denominator in all of this tragedy? Jake Haro. Let's keep going. Big shout out to Sam, Texas. 13 months as a white shield. Says, whoop, whoop. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Let me give you a yeah. That's 13 months as a white shield. Appreciate you. Appreciate you immensely. Let's get back into this. I don't think my daughter was all there. He would tell her that nobody loved her. She was abused. I would grab her and say, you need to leave. You need to do something. She could never do anything. My daughter would never touch her kids. She has another kid, a baby. You should see how she is with this kid. If the baby even has a scratch, my daughter is still going through this. Not having her children. She wanted her kids. Vanessa, through her mother, has declined to comment on the case and has allegedly hired a lawyer as she speaks to police about her experience with her ex. A warrant from the 2018 incident alleges Vanessa had left her home to drop another child to school and returned 40 minutes later. Jake claimed the baby had a fever and he gave her Tylenol, after which he put her down. All right, this is pictures of Promise Faith, who was at one time known as Carolina Haro. And she has 3% of her brain function available to her, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know if that is life. I guess as long as you breathe, that's life. But there is no quality of life for this little girl. And I'm not in any way saying she should not be with us. What I'm saying is just to express to you guys how much this man right here, her father, destroyed her. He took everything away from her. All right, let's keep going. The documents claim Jake eventually admitted to Vanessa they had dropped the child in the sink and her chest hit the center divider of the dual basin, but she never showed any signs of injury. They allegedly went to bed hours later, but Vanessa then woke up in the middle of the night claiming something was wrong with the baby. Margarita alleges that Jake only told Vanessa he dropped the baby after she woke him up. I got a call at 5 o'clock in the morning and she says, "Mom, I'm in the hospital. The baby doesn't want to feed. She was breastfeeding." She said Jake didn't want me to bring the baby. So Jake didn't want her to bring the baby, but she brought the baby anyway. And even when you read the narrative from the police, it clearly is that Vanessa's the one that really pushed for the baby, which is Promise Faith, to be brought to the hospital. So, I mean, we'll give her that much grace, that at least she brought Promise to the hospital. Big shout out to Tear Talk with a $10 super chat. Says, "You have a great community of true crime viewers. Maybe one day I'll have the same. Keep doing what you do. Keep doing what you do." Thank you so much. And listen, you just got to keep plugging at it. That's it. Keep plugging at it and cover the cases you love. I didn't cover this case because it was trending. When I covered this case, nobody else was covering it. I covered the case because Emmanuel Haro had a voice that needed to be heard, because I dedicate this show to giving a voice to the voiceless. You find out what you love, Tear Talk, and you keep plugging at it, and the audience will find you. And I'm not there yet. I'm still growing. It is what it is. I dropped a video the other day. Only a couple thousand people wanted to watch it. I don't care. I'm here on a mission to give a voice to the voiceless. And when you find your mission, your audience is going to come too. Let's keep going. Sorry I went on that little detour, but I had to give some love to Tear Talk for showing love to the channel. Let's keep going. All right. She said, "Jake didn't want me to bring the baby. I think the baby was convulsing, like a seizure. And that's when she called me. She's like, 'Mom, you need to come and take care of my kids. It's bad, Mom. Just come.' I go over there. She called me again and said Jake had admitted to dropping the baby. I'm like, 'What? Why didn't he tell you that from the beginning?' Jake switched and threatened her, said, 'I'm going to make sure they take your kids away. You die in jail.'" That sounds like something an abuser would say. Flip it on her. Like she's the one who's the problem. When they went to the hospital in Hemet, they said the baby had fractured bones. They're talking about the doctors. They took her to another hospital and I guess used fluorescent lights and saw marks on her neck and stuff like he shook the baby. When my daughter found all that out, she was like, "What did you do to my baby? What did you do?" She'd taken the baby to the doctor before because there was brown patches underneath her eyes. She didn't know what was wrong with her, but they said everything was fine. There was nothing wrong with her. Margarita claims she tried to get the previous medical records from the child for her court case, but could not obtain them. The grandmother alleges Vanessa lived with her until she fell pregnant with her and Jake's first child, and she was unaware for months that they had secretly married. She said, "I couldn't talk to her. I couldn't see her. He isolated her from her family. He didn't want her to work." Now, guys, does that not sound very similar to Rebecca? Because there's so much rumors, and some of it I believe has been verified from the grandmother, the Bochausen lady, that she had not talking to Rebecca in a long time. I think it was years. That she was estranged from Rebecca. I don't know if months or years. I don't give you guys bad information. I just know that they were not talking. He's exhibiting classic abuser behavior by isolating his wives. They get pregnant. He immediately marries them. He now takes them away from their homes, isolates them from their family members, begins a cycle of physical and psychological abuse on the mothers, and then he transitions to physical and psychological, well, not psychological, but just physical abuse on the children. Why did I omit psychological on the children? Because these children aren't even old enough to understand psychological abuse. He's beating babies. It's crazy. Unbelievable. And then these women who are in the throes of, that whole abuse, Munchausen syndrome stuff, whatever. I'm not a psychologist. I may have claimed the wrong thing. Who cares? Who knows? You know what I'm putting down. You picking it back up. They don't reach out for help. They end up becoming accomplices. Crazy. Crazy how this works, man. These ladies who probably under different circumstances with different partners probably would be great moms, just raising their children, moving on with life, living their life happy-go-lucky, but they met Jake instead. And then Jake turned them into accomplices. Stockholm Syndrome. That's what it is, not the Munchausen. Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you so much. I'm definitely not a psychologist. Let's keep going. But you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Great audience. Best audience on YouTube. She used to work in Walmart at the Vision Center. She was a good worker, and he met her there. Remember, Jake used to work in Walmart. Sometimes I would go and visit her, and she wouldn't even open the door. So I didn't know if she was bruised or beat up. I would try to take food, and she would make excuses that they weren't home. Sometimes I blame myself. Don't blame yourself, Grandma. Don't blame yourself. You raise these children. You give them the best wisdom you can give them. You send them off in the world, and at some point they have to make their own choices for themselves. I understand domestic violence. I'm not a victim. I was never a victim, but I'm a police officer. I'm a detective. I've dealt with domestic violence situations my entire career. Now that I work in the specialized unit that I work with, where I do specialized investigations, and they'll tell you what I do in the chat. I can't say it on YouTube, otherwise they'll penalize the channel, because apparently what I do is very salacious. But DV is often a part of the type of investigations that I do. And as much empathy as I have for people who are in those situations, I cannot give you an excuse, no matter how abused you are, I cannot give you an excuse for not protecting children. Full stop. These ladies were in a really tight spot and tough position, but they had a duty to protect those young children, and they did not. So they got to own it. It doesn't matter what Jake did to them. Doesn't matter what he said to them. They should have protected their offspring, and they did not. And so hence, they face the consequences, and they face the wrath of man, which is our justice system. And you know what? There are many people who are going to have soft spots for them and say, I disagree. You know who doesn't disagree with me? The criminal justice system of the United States of America. Guess what? I do believe that Vanessa was a victim, but guess what? Vanessa is a convicted abuser. The courts didn't care. I wholeheartedly believe that black eye was from Jake that Rebecca was sporting. And I don't think that they did it as a prop. I think it was an example of the ongoing abuse that she was experiencing. But guess what? You know who doesn't care? The United States criminal justice system doesn't care. They charged her with malice murder. At some point, you got to put your big boy and big girl pants on, and you got to do what's right for you and your children. Because you know who's not going to care? The criminal justice system. Let's keep going. All right, opening old wounds. Margarita claims her daughter's story was never believed, and she eventually pleaded guilty and served community service and had to attend child endangerment classes. The grandmother said they were allowed visits to the children for a while, but they fell out with the cousin who adopted them and have not been for 2 years. Margarita claims she was desperate to adopt them and bought a bigger house thinking she would get them back. She said, "We miss the children. My daughter is missing her kids." Margarita saw the interview of Jake appearing distressed on TV with his new wife Rebecca after their son went missing, but she says she didn't believe their story or fake tears. She said, "I saw all that. I knew he was lying. He's a liar and a manipulator. This has opened old wounds. To me, I would want him to be sentenced to death. That's an easy way out. I want him to go to prison for the rest of his life." So she said, I wouldn't. I read that incorrectly. I wouldn't want him to be sentenced to death. She wants him to get life without parole. Let's keep going. Jake and Rebecca each charged with felony murder with malice, along with an additional misdemeanor charge of making a false police report. They remain in custody on $1 million bail and have denied killing their son through jail interviews. Their official arraignment is September 4th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. Margarita says Vanessa, who also has an older child from a previous relationship, along with her new baby, struggled to get her life back on track, but is now doing well. Now listen, I do believe in forgiveness at times, not always. I'm a very fire and brimstone type of guy. But I hope that there is some measure of supervision that she's getting with this new baby that she has. I hope there's some measure of supervision. I just don't trust people like her or Jake or anybody else for that matter that's had this type of contact with our criminal justice system. I won't trust them for the rest of their life. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure she's a great mom, but never forget You know what they say, never forget the Alamo? Never forget Promise Faith. It was under your watch that happened. This is the problem that I have here. Before I go any further, please, guys, hit that like button. We got almost 700 people right now watching this live stream and only 324 likes. We need those likes so we can get into the algorithm and we can get shown to a wider audience. So please support the channel and hit the like button. This is the issue that I have with Grandma's take on this whole situation. She's kind of making her daughter out to just be totally innocent and just a big old victim, right? People just love, in 2025, I've noticed, like the last 5 years, everybody just loves being a victim. The last 5 years. Nobody ever holds themselves accountable for anything. The problem the reason why I won't believe that she's just a big old baby angel victim. I'm over here sounding like the actual Justice Warrior show I watch. I like his channel. He always says baby angel. She's not a baby angel victim. The reason why she's not a big old baby angel victim is the doctors clearly observed through their forensic examination of Promise Faith, aka Carolina Haro, that this was abuse, protracted abuse that happened over an extended amount of time. She had multiple bones that were healing. She had broken leg, broken ribs, bleeding on the brain, all kinds of stuff going on. Now, who are the real parents in the room? Come on, where the real parents at? Come on. Where you at? If you're a real parent in the room, I want to see some thumbs up in the chat if you're a real parent in the room. Because this is a question for all the real parents in the room. Do you not notice every little disturbance, we're going to say, on your baby's body? Explain to me, off of being parents, look, all these parents in the room is going crazy. Explain to me if you guys believe that it's possible that a baby can have multiple fractured ribs, bleeding on the brain, fractured skull, broken leg, and you would not notice these black and blue marks on her body to say, we got to go to the hospital. Can I share with you guys a story that's going to make me look horrible, but it's not my fault, it was an accident? I'm going to get in trouble for sharing this story. So my middle daughter, brand new from the hospital, not brand new, but like a couple days, wrapped up in a bundle. Like mommy's, in medical field, so she knows how to wrap the baby up, like how they wrap them up in the natal ward, is that's what they call it. And I'm going down the stairs and I slip. I mean, it's a tragic story. I didn't throw my baby down the stairs. I slipped and I fell and I hurt my back bad, and my daughter just went rolling down the stairs. It makes me go crazy just thinking about it. I fall down. I throw myself down the rest of the stairs to get to her. She's not crying. She's just looking at me. We went to the hospital immediately. I'm limping to the hospital. I didn't even get checked out. I couldn't think about myself. They did every measure of x-ray, whatever, boom, 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 and they're like, she's perfectly fine. That tells me two things. It's anecdotal, it's not scientific, but it tells me two things. Number one, that neither Vanessa or Jake did what they were supposed to do when a baby takes a fall. I have the courage to say that here on YouTube. It has happened to many of you, you just not saying it. But what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to take corrective action. Immediately go to the hospital. Immediately get all the tests that are necessary to ensure that that baby's okay. That's number one. And number two, what it shows me is that babies are very resilient. They're very resilient. They can take an accident. You have to really make an effort to hurt them. Their joints haven't even fully fused yet. Picture that. They haven't fused like ours are fused. Their skulls, the bone hasn't fused yet. So it's malleable. It could take accidental impact and stuff like that. You have to really work hard to hurt a child. That's what I get from this. So the doctor said that it happened over a long period of time. You can't convince me that she didn't know, that she just found out that one night when they said that her chest was crackling. The bone was crackling like Rice Krispies. It wasn't just that moment. You had to tell me as a mother, and picking her up and feeding her and holding her and changing her and bathing her and manipulating her and seeing how her body acted 2 weeks ago to how it's acting now, how she moving her legs, how she moving her arms, how she moving her eyes, how she smiled. You should have known. And if you didn't know, then you were negligent, and that is why the criminal justice system did not treat her the way her mama is trying to treat her like she's an innocent baby angel. Yeah, I'm going to take that from the actual Justice Warrior. I like that. Like she's an innocent baby angel. You're not an innocent baby angel. She had a part to play too, and that's why she pled guilty. Now, let's go to the chat real quick before we go back to this. Big shout out to Johnny Blessed. It was a $9.99 super chat. Says, I was wondering if Jake will flip and cooperate against Rebecca to get off lightly all over again since mom is clinging to her story. Your thoughts? You are a blessing, and we appreciate you always strategic. I don't think he can flip because I think everybody's looking at him as he is the one who did it. So unless he could provide investigators with clear and convincing evidence that it was actually Rebecca who did it, they're going to charge both of them the same and charge both of them with the crime. He's not going to be able to put it on Rebecca just off of his word and then get off easy. It's not going to happen because he has a history of doing this. And lastly, I just want to add that that beautiful little baby girl that I mentioned in my personal story is now a honor roll, thriving 13-year-old girl who's about to turn 14, who I'm very proud of. She's the apple of my eye, along with her big sister, who's turning 18 this year, and of course my rambunctious little son who beats me up every moment that he gets, who's turning 7 this year. So yeah, you know what? Accidents do happen, but it's what do you do when those accidents happen? What do? You do the right thing. You take action. You try your best to make sure that you're putting their needs first, which is something that for some reason a lot of people aren't doing lately. They aren't putting the needs of children first. Let's keep going. Margarita says, Vanessa, who has an older child from a previous relationship along with a new baby, struggles to get her life back on track, but is now doing well. I talk to my daughter every day to see how she's doing, she said. She's got her own place and everything. She works again and has a new partner, her baby daddy, but she doesn't let anyone be with her kids. Once again, I don't know what's wrong with people. People like to procreate. People just like to put their things in things. Like, to me, the moment I find out she has this history, I'm taking me and my seed and I'm hitting the road. I don't understand this. You find out this woman has this history. I guess people deserve second chances, strategic. Come on. You're just too mean. You're a mean old cop. That's why it is. You just mean. I would not plant my seed in a woman who got convicted of turning Carolina Haro into promised faith. When she was Carolina Haro, she was a healthy, beautiful baby girl. Jake Haro and Vanessa Haro, who now wants to be called Vanessa Avina, turned Carolina Haro into promised faith. I would never, ever gamble with my progeny by impregnating a woman like that with that type of record. I'm sorry. Let's keep going. You can be mad at me if you want. Maybe I'm too tough. I don't care. I'm sorry. So this is Margarita Avina. Jake Haro's former mother-in-law was distraught over the situation this week. Is this the mother? I think, no, this is not Vanessa. This is her mother. The mother looked mad young. She looked mad young. Look at this. I thought that was Vanessa, but that's not Vanessa. Vanessa's not pictured in this. This is the grandmother. Tell me that looked like a grandmother to you? She looked like she 30, bro. That don't look like a grandmother to me. She ain't playing. She got some work done. I'm just joking. I don't know. I don't know if she got work done. I don't know. Whatever. I think that's it. That's it right there. Wow. Very informative. I do appreciate her at least, having the courage to speak about this. I would love to hear from Vanessa. I want to hear from her words, not third party. I want to hear from her words, what she experienced with Jake. I do believe that all of these women were victims of DV. I just can't excuse you for not protecting Carolina. And then we also have to think about a few other things too. That her daughter, not her, because that's not Vanessa. That's Margarita. That's her name is Margarita. Okay. Party time. All right. Listen. We can't forget that Vanessa was arrested for DWI at least 3 times, from my understanding, and that her son was born with fetal alcohol poisoning. So we can't sit here like this lady is an angel. We can't sit here like she's an angel. Because, all right, you can't control, well, you should have been able to at least protect each other, but we can't control the evil that's in Jake's soul. But you can control the things that you did. You could control the things that you did. And drinking while being pregnant was evil. Was just as evil as Jake doing what he did, because babies could come out deformed, mentally disabled, the whole 9. The baby could have came out with the same cerebral palsy and issues that Carolina has. Her brother could have been born with that simply because the mother was getting blackout drunk while she was pregnant with her baby. Like Erica B says, they're all messed up. They're all messed up. So there is no hero in this story. And yes, grandma's waist is snatched. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. You guys are bad in the chat. I appreciate you guys immensely. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I can't even speak. It's time for me to go to bed. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please remember, we do have a membership where you can get additional members only content that you can't see on YouTube. We also have a Patreon where you get a more raw version of True Crime with Strategic. We do appreciate you. I would have loved to hang out with you guys a little bit longer, but I do have to work 20-hour shift tomorrow. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. It is what it is. I'm not looking forward to it, but I got a job to do, right? I got to pay the bills. I got to do what I got to do, right? So consider joining us and becoming a part of our family. Make sure that you hit that like button. Please do. I'm going to actually check to see if anybody sent me any super chats or anything before we get out of here. But make sure you hit that like button. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we have less than 3,000 subscribers to get us there. Less than 3,000, like 2,000 and change to get us there. It's not a lot, man. It's not a lot at all. And we can get there through your cooperation, through you sharing it with your friends and family, and showing love to the channel by hitting that like and engaging in the chat. So let's keep going. Well, we covered all the super chats, so we're good there. I don't think I missed anybody. I do want to welcome some new members to the show. Irish Luck is now a recruit member. Road Warrior is now a recruit member. We appreciate you. Vicky Israel is a recruit member. New people who just signed up for the show, so we appreciate you. And Miss Patriot Lady, who's been with me for a very long time, is celebrating 20 months as a member on a patrol level. She says, appreciate the show, get some rest. Now, she's been a member for 20 months, but she's been with the show for a whole lot longer than that. We do appreciate her love and dedication to the show. And Tear Talk with a $1.99 super chat. And this is after Tear Talk has already given us quite a bit of other super chats, so we do appreciate them. Said, come visit me and my True Crime channel. All right, well, we'll take a look at your channel. And right now we're building out our show. But once we finish building out our show, we'll definitely consider starting to do collaborations in the future. But right now, we're focusing on this show right now. We do appreciate you. We'll keep you in mind. Definitely email me and send me a link to your show so I can go ahead and check that out and see what you're working with, all right? But we do appreciate you, and thank you so much for supporting us today. All right, guys, we'll leave it on that positive note. Let me cue up the outro. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.